And sometimes when we force things, it actually gets more stuck. So this is very feminine in a way to flow into how do we create and how do we actually receive what we need to do in our
I'm
life
good, baby.
to help shift things. So we'll start with, what is a dream board? Has anybody done a dream board or a vision board before by a show of hands? Yeah. Yeah, great. And what has been your experience with them in the past?
I found them to be very helpful
Yes.
and fun to make for sure.
Yeah, and fun to do. Are people planning on this call to do them by themselves, or are we doing them with family members, children, just so I can go through what we want to talk about here?
I would like to do it with my children and some of my girlfriends. I think would be fun.
Okay. How old are your kids?
Mine are 21 and 18.
21
So,
and 18.
mhm.
That should be fun. Yeah. I've been doing these. I have 3 daughters, twins that are 22 now and a 23-year-old. So lots of busy little hands when they were younger. And so if you have littles or if you have grandchildren, this is a wonderful practice to establish with them, to have some playtime and occupy some things away from the electronics. And we'll go through what you can do on electronics too, because last year we did that and it was quite lovely. So I'll walk through Canva. But if you do have littles, a really easy way to do this is to just set out the craft tools. You don't have to really set a container for children to play. Oftentimes they will just get into it on their own. But a really nice, easy way is to have them trace their hand and their fingers on a piece of paper. I use this size paper generally. It's probably 24 by 12 or so. And that way your hand can fit, but you can definitely use half sizes or even bigger foam. We've done it with these foam and it's nice and soft. And with the littles, especially, they like the textures. So the little foam cutouts and stickers and things like that can go on here, but you'll want to glue it because it's obviously it's flexible. So you'll want to make sure that you keep it flat and or put it in a frame and actually keep this where you can see it and where they can see it. And so it's always on top of mind or being subconsciously recalled back into our lives. And it's an actual living working document of what we're creating into our future. We're more powerful than we ever could imagine. So that's what I would do for littles, and we don't have littles in your life right now, then you could still do that for yourself too. I know my little inner child is 6, so I get into that six-year-old playfulness space when I want to tap into my own feminine creative. Okay, so that's where I would begin, is with our own physical bodies of how do we help set up our environment as well as our mindset into being present while we're doing and creating. So I oftentimes will plan for a quiet space. This isn't something that you'll want to do in front of the TV or while, family members are talking in the kitchen or you're supposed to be doing something else. It's really a time for you, and it doesn't have to be that long. I usually set a time limit of 45 minutes to an hour, but you can establish a time limit if you want or not. It's totally up to you. I also try to do this in a space that's either in silence and or really calming, relaxing music in the background, whatever appeals to you and that inspires you to be in that state. So that can be different for everybody, but something without words, something that will allow you to just be with yourself. And I'm going to invite you to do the dream boards in silence. So it's fun. I've done them with a group of women where we were chatting and we're talking and, we're having a nice coffee time of it. And that's fun and it's powerful. quieting it down, that there is a different type of energy that comes through that's just for you. And so that it would be my suggestions, would be to get yourself into a quiet space, dedicate the time, get yourself in that mood. Now, that can be different for different people too. I've done this right after work and come home, and as I've got this project to do, right? And I've rushed into it, and it takes 15, 25, 30, an hour to settle into, okay, this is what I'm actually doing. And to get out of the headspace. So by taking 10, 15 minutes or so or longer. So sometimes this has to be, got to make sure you have a good bowel movement. I mean, and have a cup of tea and take a bath. Put on your favorite clothing or outfit so that you feel really comfortable temperature wise. And then setting up your space. So you want to make sure that you have ample space to spread out. So clear off a table. I'm using my dining room table here. And you'll want to allow yourself that space to just spread out. Get a comfy chair, cup of tea, set up that container. I oftentimes also start with some movement in my body and some breath work. So I'll do movement exercises that you can try just to kind of let go of all that tension using and tapping into your breath helps you to relax the nervous system so that you can get into a more creative state. So some of the exercises that I use, besides just dancing ecstatically like a child in the living room, which is often fun, in just moving, and you want to really get your hips and your shoulders in there and your head in there, and just allow yourself to just close your eyes, pretend like nobody's watching, and just let it flow. That helps us get into that zone. Movement has been used for centuries in so many different cultures to allow us to express, to allow us to tap into our power and our energy, and to let that excess energy that gets trapped and pushed down out. Oftentimes I'll use my breath as well, or my voice, and and I'll let it just come through. Different sounds that if somebody were watching, they might think you're a little crazy. It's children play, they make all kinds of noises, but we're designed to do that too. And that voice allows us to let that energy flow. Chanting can help as well, but again, you're directing energy, and I'm really looking at how do we expand into that creative, not making sense of it, not trying to even control it, just allowing it to come through. There's been times when a cry will come through before I have to get into the business, or I'll start yelling like frustrated, or there's something that's in there that needs to come out. So be mindful that whatever you're doing to help yourself to clear the space so that you can get into your creative zone is what needs to happen so that you can get into your creative zone. There's no judgment. There's no trying to figure it out. It's just the way you're feeling at the moment and what needed to come and be released. It's really a beautiful and freeing human experience to give yourself permission to just let loose. And let's face it, it's just music, and it's just dancing, and it's just movement, and it's just a release. So this sometimes will take a few minutes. Sometimes it's a little longer and I get a little sweaty. That's okay. So just kind of use your body and your judgment and where you're feeling. And once you feel like you're just settled in, then I set myself down and I do some breath work. The breath work and movements that I do are designed to help release tension and to drop us into our heart. In order to do that, we have to turn off the vagus nerve. The vagal nerve is our fight or flight. It's our activated sense of survival. And so we want to be able to unwind that. If it's not already with the dancing, there's some specific moves that you can do to bring that breath in. I'll show you today. So this is from more Kundalini exercises. There's some power with holding. It's like pretending and stretching your back muscles so that they're tight. And it's like pretending like you're holding a dumbbell. And you want to take a full inhale breath when you punch up. And we're going to go fast, up, and punch as hard and fast as you can up while taking in a big, deep sip of breath. Exhale, pulling down. And you'll want to do that as fast as you can for 40 breaths. Obviously not in the car if you're driving, but you can do it if you're holding still, okay? All right, so sometimes I do it with my eyes open, sometimes I do it with my eyes closed. You play around with it. I do this sitting, especially in the beginning, because you can get a little lightheaded or dizzy even, because you're flooding your body with oxygen and oxytocin. So it's going to calm down that nervous system. So we're going to do that today. So go ahead and get comfy, close your eyes or keep them open, and you're going to breathe in and exhale. Keep going and breathe it in and breathe it out. And then that exhale, you want to and bring that energy down like you're planting it into the ground and punch it up as hard as you can. Get your arms to hit your ears. Punch it up, let it down, punch it up, let it down. And on the last breath, when you get to 40, you're going to punch it up and you're going to inhale and hold that breath. And hold that breath. And I want you to bring your energy up, 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 like it's punching through the top of your head. Hold it as long as you possibly can. And when you're done with that breath, hands in the lap, and just allow yourself to feel. Feel into your body. Now you might feel a little tingly in your hands. You might feel a little warmer, a little looser in the shoulders. Us women especially, we hold tension all in our neck and shoulders. So that's one exercise I do often, even when I'm not doing just dream board, to help release tension and get me fully present. The next one is, it's a heart opening exercise, and you want to like pretend like you're picking up your shirt. And you're going to breathe in towards the left side, which is your heart side. So take an inhale breath and you're going to twist, and you're going to turn your head as far back as you can to see as far behind you as you can. And then you're going to twist to the right, looking as far back as you can, and exhale. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Inhale to the left, twisting your neck, exhale. So it's coming from your spine and your hips, and you're twisting all the way around and getting your head involved and then your neck involved in that. Can you hear the crackling and the loosening? Oh, the tension, all everyday life, adulting, held all up in there. All right. This I do 10, 15, 20 times, even 40 times, just to get that movement. Our bodies are designed to move. All right, great. So those are just a couple of the exercises that we do to be able to help free up the energy. If you still feel stuck, there's some body pounding and other things that I can show you to really get that creative energies going. But for most people, even just the dancing in combination with a couple of these breath works can be enough. So any questions on anything that I've talked about so far? Pretty simple, right? Okay, fantastic. So now you want to take a couple of minutes, and we're going to do some big, deep breath work to get, again, our clarity to come through. And there's a couple of ways of setting intention for a dream board. And the most powerful way that I have found is to just clear the mind and focus in on the breath, to not try to create anything in the beginning, just to help clear the space and invite in inspiration, okay, and creativeness. And so I'll close my eyes and I'll focus on a 4-4-8-4 breath with the accentuation on the exhale. So when we deep exhale, we're emptying out, we're calming our nervous system, we're telling our bodies we're safe, and that is the space of calm. And in this calm is when we can create our best. So a count of 4, deep breath in, focusing on bringing that breath in from our bellies. Deep breath in, and then you hold for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 8. Hold at the empty for 4. And then inhale again for 4. Holding the breath at the top with all of that oxygen. So your sip of breath is going to be faster than your exhaled breath. Hold for a count of 4. Now, if you haven't done any breath work before, this might take a little bit to get used to. And after a few sips of the breath, you'll start to get into the rhythm of it and feel. This is a special tool that I use anytime I'm stressed. And I love it because it's free and you can take it anywhere you go. It'll tap in. I do quite a bit of public speaking. I will do this breath work prior to any public speaking just because it helps center me and I find my words easier than when I'm in my head. And it helps us to get into the creative. Hi, Lucinda. Glad you're able to.
Hi, sorry, Valley made it in.
That's okay. I've got it recorded so you can watch it later. What you missed. Be good for you and your classes. Lucinda's an artist. All right. Okay, so let's talk about supplies. Any questions about breath work or any other tips that people have used? Yes.
I just curious, how many times, like you say, before you're giving public speaking, how many times would you do it? How many repetitions?
Sure, it's 9.
9, okay. 9.
So yeah, there's generally some power in processions of 3, 6, 9. And so 9 breaths. And even when I'm coaching people that have nervous system regulation challenges, it's 9 times a day of a series of 9. And we sprinkle them throughout the day. Mm-hmm. That exercise alone can be life-changing for people. Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of ways to do dream boards, and I have found some tricks over the years that I really would love to share with you today. The first is to decide what you want to have in your dream board and the time frame. The more specific you can get in your dream board, the better the outcome. And I'm going to show you an example of my future husband's dream board from last year. And it demonstrates the power of a dream board, but also the lack of detail and how the outcome actually happened. And it's a fun little story. So this is John's dream board here. And we did this on Canva. And he did his in front of the TV, which is beautiful. Not as well, it's beautiful. It looks really pretty, right? Lots of color in there. He loves golfing, so he manifested golfing. He wanted some financial freedom. He put in a wedding. There was a wedding. I think he was thinking ours because we're engaged and we were planning to get married. It ended up being his daughter's. So his daughter got married and tied the knot. And I was like, it came true, but it wasn't necessarily what he thought it was going to be. Financial freedom came in, but not in the way that he wanted, or that he actually was like, well, it's better, but it's not so great. Health and wealth, that's too vague. So even though he had things on here, we did go to this place, but it was on a business trip. It wasn't for us together. So I was kind of like, wait a minute. I wanted to go. So mindset is everything. He had intended to write his book that didn't get finished. So he put in mindset, but it wasn't specific enough. So this is a good demonstration, beautiful, colorful. He's on the right track, but because he wasn't as specific with the language or with the picture or the image or putting labels on it. So that manifested in the same, it happened. It just didn't happen the way he thought it was going to. So that's a good illustration of be as specific and precise in your vision and imagery as you possibly can. And I'll walk you through an exercise about creating that dream day as an illustration of what you can do to help get yourself in that space and to be inspired. So the next thing is, if you want to do this physical, I believe that there's even more energy and power that can be created by handling things, cutting the things, writing the things. There's a tactile of looking through it and being inspired. So magazines, articles, news, things that you've gathered around the house that you love. You know, I feel like there's really some magic in, like, I like this haircut. I'm going to cut this haircut out and put it on my body and put it on my dream board. So there's really some fantastic power. We got away from it when we were on the computer all the time. I'm going to show you how to do it in Canva too. And even if you just want to be inspired by the pictures, print them out, cut them out, and then put them on your dream board. That's a way to get access to visions and pictures too. I love colored pencils, so I have a variety of different colored pencils. Other people like markers or crayons. There's something beautiful about crayons as well. That just brings us back into our creative childhood-like energy. So don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. Use some crayons and some colored pencils. I love the bold markers or paints. Those can help you to get there is a power of tapping into your writing and how you're writing things too. So be very intentional with everything that you add in, allowing it to be in flow, no judgment. And the word selection too, be intentional. So there's some things we're going to do to prep yourself to make sure you add in exactly what's in your soul that wants to come forward on that paper. And I'm going to share those with you today too. So magazines, I love stickers, and you'll make sure that you have some glue sticks and some good sharp scissors, maybe some staples or some tape. So you want to make sure you have your supplies ready. Oftentimes I forget that I have so much stuff, and so go look around your house before you go out and buy it new. My John, he loves to, we have a project, he'll immediately go to the store and buy everything new. And I'm like, I had everything in the garage. So try not to do the overabundant thing like I have had in the past, and use what you have. Okay, any questions about supplies for a dream board or a vision board? Okay, so get your paper, your template, stickers, art supplies, etc. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to share with you my screen, and I'll show you a couple of things that you can do to get yourself in the zone. All right, can you see this vision wheel?
Yes, I can.
All right, so one place to start is you have to decide, is your vision board going to be for a certain amount of time, like say for this next year, 2024? Is it going to be a 5-year manifestation or a 10-year manifestation? What is it going to be as far as your time frame? The next thing is to take an account of exactly where you are. And this isn't for judgment. This is really about, here's where I'm at right now. What's the area of my life that I would love to focus on for, say, 2024? So for some of us, work might be an area. We're going to school, or we're changing careers, or we want to change a career. So that's where we're going to focus in a lot of more of our vision and our energy. Other people want more friends, or their family life needs more focus, or maybe your family life's great and you really need to focus on more spirituality and connection, or you're going to move jobs, or could be locations, and you're going to want to manifest some more friends in a new location where you're maybe buying a new home in a different area. So you want to take an account of where you're at right now. And I did attach this, so you'll get a copy of this. This was created by my good friend here, Evangeline Scott. She's a mortgage planner. So everybody's doing a little bit of this planning on your vision wheel. And then look at, are there any surprises for you that are coming? How much of your time are you spending in these areas, and do you want to devote more time to that? And then get into how you vision yourself, your ideal self in those areas. And this is kind of cerebral in its application, a little less creative, but for some of this for some people, this works to help narrow down what's the focus. So do I want to focus on money, which areas, and then rate it 1 to 10 so that you can really get into where do you want to focus most for the dream or vision board. And then this will help you to where you want to be. So this can help you to look at what colors, what pictures, what visions do you need to create or connect with so that you can help manifest that on the dream board. So that's one thing that you can do. Another one is I'm going to walk you through a visualization, and I'll provide this to you as well so that you can walk yourself through or others through if you'd like to when you get ready to do your dream boards. So I'm going to invite everyone to just close their eyes for a minute while I walk you through what it would be like to vision your perfect day. We're just going to start with the vision of a perfect day, but you can use this as a perfect year or perfect 5-year or that perfect home you're manifesting. You can use a dream board for anything. So this is a simple exercise, but it's one of the most important things that you'll ever do in life is to vision and have a dream. Be a big dreamer, big bodacious dreamer. Get the one life here, and why not dream big? So it starts with that big full breath. In and exhale. And on your perfect day, your absolutely perfect day, what time would you wake up? See the time, the clock. What would you wake up next to? Would it be waking to an alarm clock, or would you be waking to the sunrise? Would it be before the sunrise? Who are you waking up next to? How restful was your sleep? Do you feel energized? Now, tune into your senses. What do you smell? Do you smell the trees outside, or rain? Coffee, maybe? Your favorite essential oil? Now, what sounds are you hearing? Can you hear the birds chirping? Wind outside? Maybe some chimes? What's the weather like? Most people say the beach. For me, I like the rain. What's your first thought in the morning? It's going through your head. What do you long for? Is meditation involved? If so, how long do you meditate? Put yourself there. What are you manifesting for the day ahead? What are you grateful for? Are you having a good hair day? What can you get excited about today? This perfect day that you're creating. What are you absolutely so excited you could hardly stand it? So excited to get to it. Who are you going to meet with? Or are you all by yourself? Are you going to exercise, spend time outdoors? Are you going to ground? Or maybe just feel the sunlight? What do you have for breakfast? Or maybe you're skipping breakfast. What supplements are you taking and what are they for? What's in your cup? Are you having conversations with your family? What type of information are you consuming that day? Audio, video, maybe a podcast, music? What are you doing to prime your body for this exciting, beautiful day? If you work, how is the drive or the walk to the office or the community center, the school? How's traffic? What time do you start in the day? Envision your day with your perfect clients or your perfect patients or your perfect experience. If you're at work, maybe you're not work, maybe you're retired and you get to go and do whatever it is that you love. When you see the people that are there, are they as excited as you are? In your perfect day, they can be any way you want. They're usually grumpy. Visualize them happy, excited. What's for lunch? How long is lunch? Linger there. In your delicious day, what do you get to create is up to you. What tasks are you doing that are in your zone of genius? Those are the things that you're designed to do, that you light up when you're doing them. Can you visualize yourself asking for the assistance that you need to do the things that are outside your area of genius and that drain your energy? What time would you head home? And are there any stops along the way? Do you talk to anyone while you're out? Do you say hi and do you put your head down? And when you get home, who's there to greet you? What are you going to do that day for fun and play? You can think about dinner. What are the conversations like? What's everyone doing? What are you going to be doing with this precious time each day on earth? After having a day that's been exemplary, perfect day, what is it that you would want to do? What do you do before bed? What time are you going to bed? And then what are you grateful for? What are your intentions are you setting into your subconscious mind before you go to sleep? Take a big deep breath in. Open your eyes when you're ready. So this was an example of the amount of detail that can go into your dream board. This was just one perfect day. And it's different for each one of us. But by walking through these steps with the intention of what is it that I'm going to create this dream board and how is it going to look, that would be an example. I've done this exercise where I was writing out every detail, not just visualizing it, but writing it down. It's pretty amazing. The more detail that you can get, the more you realize that maybe your actions aren't lining up with what you actually want in your life and what's actually happening. And it's a good experiential exercise to do so that you can take this dream board and really get into, okay, I said I wanted to have tea in the morning and exercise and do my meditations, but am I actually doing that in my everyday life? And how am I doing it? Am I rushed through it? Am I feeling like it's one more thing I have to do? What is it that I'm doing that's a have to in my life rather than a want to? And how do I squeeze more fun and creativity into my life instead of those have tos? Where can I ask for help? And then finding the pictures and the inspiration to put on your dream board to help that to come true. So whatever it is that you look like in your vision, in your perfect day of meditation or of exercise, you get a picture that matches that. Maybe it's an old picture of what you've done before, or maybe it's an inspirational picture of someone who's doing it. So you want to try to find those images or draw those images or create those images or write in those images on your dream board as specific as possible. Does that make sense? Okay. It will take a little bit of time to find those images. It'll take a little bit of time to be able to manifest them. Trust that they'll show up and you'll be surprised at how like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, I didn't even know I wanted that. And those types of experiences will start to come through. And it's super fun. All right, so we went through the magical day. So be very clear on your intention, what it is, and the time frame of what you're trying to create. You can do this for anything. And this is specifically for 2024, but you can do it for 5 years. You can do it for a specific event. So design your dream boards and you can do as many as you want. All right, let's see, what else was I going to share with you? Any questions on how to do perfect day or how to do a vision for getting yourself in the zone?
I'm just curious, like I know you said you could do them for all different kinds of things, but you in your life, you know, when you're really busy and stuff like in a course of a year, how many vision boards would you do?
So I'll do a vision board at the beginning of the year. So like now for the year. And then I'll do a vision board for any big project. Or if I have a problem, I can't seem to feel like I'm solving. Like if I'm stuck, like really stuck, I'm not sure what I should do, or it doesn't seem to be moving forward in the way that I thought it would, I will get more specific on that goal. So for example, internal wisdom, I've got a book, it's all outlined, and I'll do another one for my book. Like visualizing myself with the opening and the publishing and getting up on stage or doing book signings or, you know, all the things that you could do with books. And it might be a workshop and it might be, you know, so that you could do a lot of things with books. You could write a book and just be finished with it. And then it shows some empty space of where I'm doing other stuff, right? So there's different reasons for doing different things in your life. So that's generally what I would do. Is when I'm feeling bogged down, stuck, I'll do a dream board, get myself in a space, get myself back into the creative of why I'm doing it. So it's fun again, as opposed to it's heavy, I have to, where's my block? And a lot of times when you're doing these dream boards, you'll find a block. You'll find some place where your subconscious is a little afraid to ask for what you want, those big bodacious asks. We think too small a lot of times. Don't be afraid to go for it. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Any other questions about dream boards, when to do them, how to do them? All right. Okay, so real quick, I'll walk through some of the tools that I've used. Let's see. Who's familiar with Canva? Have you used Canva? Great. So Canva has a beautiful mood board collages that are in there. And I have used these and I actually really love them because you can get creative. And then I oftentimes will print them out and cut them out. But it's a different feel than when you're coloring. So if you're going to create in Canva, some people can do this and really stay left-brained. I have a harder time. So I like the tactile touching and feeling and cutting and pasting. There's a sensation that happens there that's really powerful. But if you need some resources for images, magazines are so expensive. It's crazy nowadays that this is a nice way, or if you don't have a collection or don't know where to go, this is a good way to get some images. Pinterest would be another one. So there's different types of pictures that you can get, or you can create this collage that are in these different themes. So what I wanted to point out here is to really look at, when you're looking at images and finding pictures that are inspiring, you want to see what has texture, what has emotion, shape to it, and color to it. So you don't necessarily have to have a theme with your mood board or your vision board. But if you wanted to have a selection guide of what you're looking for, you want it to evoke some sort of feeling from you, some sort of emotion. Does that make sense? The images can be very generic in here's this one here is like a party scene. And they're celebrating obviously something, and then you could use that image and then write words across the top of it or color across it when you're printing it out so that you're more specific. So you want to try to get as specific as possible. Maybe this image would show you're traveling and you're watching the sunset and it's and you'd label it with the location or the people that you're with. So that again, you can bring in that specificity so that you're really manifesting in a certain direction. Here is a picture of like the ocean and some feet. You want to make sure that you're holding that intention that those are your feet and where that ocean is, and get as specific as possible, and maybe even put some dates on it. Dates and time, like you want to have a vacation in the Maldives and have it in June. And so you're going to put those specifics in there as much as possible. And I'm really happy with embellishments. So feel free to put in your favorite twigs. I'm a moon person. I love the moon. So put in some of your favorite things so that you're bringing more of that in. Bring in hobbies. So it doesn't have to just be so goal-oriented. If you're focusing on yourself, your self-care, put in some self-care stuff. Maybe some images of yourself that you love, that you're laughing. And if you don't have any of those, some images of people that bring you inspiration or make you feel happy when you see it. This gal brought in photography. I know taking pictures and hobbies is really where we keep tapping into the joy of life. And we also have to adult and we still have this business aspect. So in this board, she's divided it up into 4 different sections here. So she's focusing on family, self, hobbies, and business. Others are just random, but you can set up your dream board in any fashion or container or organization that feels right to you. And she puts herself in the center. Looks like she wants to have a baby. Looks like she wants family and friends around. There's a house involved. So super fun. So Canva, and this one's another one that has categories of focus. So she wants health and balance, inspiration, creating happiness habits, and what that looks like. A new home, perhaps, or a swimming pool involved, and dreaming, to stop dreaming. Now, this is an example of where I wouldn't put words that are limiting yourself. Stop dreaming and start doing. It wasn't something that I would recommend putting on a dream board, because the universe doesn't hear that. God doesn't really recognize the negative words. Like, I want to stop. I don't do this. I'm going to stop sugar. I'm going to eat healthy is more powerful. So this is where positive words, you want to focus in on what you want. Our mind wants to go back to what we don't want and what we want to eliminate. And that's not as powerful as declaring what we really do want. It's hard for some people. And you really don't want to stop dreaming, right? You want to continue dreaming and have those dreams come true through doing. So that would be dream big and do things to support those big dreams. So I would reword that for sure. All right, so Canva is a tool that you can use. I know people have used Pinterest and just the internet and search different images that you could find. For crafts, I have used Michael's, and I'll get just sheets of these stickers. It's kind of fun, especially if you're going to get a group of people together, but even for yourself, and just have a collection of kindness words and happiness words, flowers or hearts, whatever it is that you get creative with, that you love, animals. So that gives a lot of variety and dimensions to your dream board. In addition to writing, you can put on stickers or color in the images. So Hobby Lobby is a good place to find those. So is Michael's, obviously. And then I gather things throughout the year for future sit downs with things. Don't be afraid to also use elements from the outside, like river rocks are kind of heavy, but trees and limbs or twigs. A lot of people use shells to embellish and decorate. This is a piece of art. You're going to have that in your space for maybe a year or longer. The girls kept theirs in a box after we were done with them. So I had lots of them before they moved out, and they got to take their box with them. Not sure what they did with them yet, but. Okay, so then, so supplies are really important. Gather some things, garage sales, other areas are good places to get them, even in the yard, or flowers. Bring in the elements from the earth that are inspiring for you. Be very clear on your intention and a time frame for your intention, and be as specific as possible. And this is all after you've set up your container, your space to be able to create, as well as your own physical body to clear from your mind and drop you into your heart. And the heart space is where your true passions lie. And so you'll want to make sure that you take this time before you get into the dream board to really put yourself into a space to receive the truth of what you really want, to allow yourself permission to go big and dream big. Because why not, right? Other people have their big bodacious dreams. So can you. All right. Any other questions about the dream board, setting up your space and container for this? Any other suggestions that you've done? Yes, Melmari.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so how do you like continue, you got your dream board
Mhm.
and it's up there for a year. How do you continue to work with it? Do you create affirmations around with it or just stick it up on the wall? You look at it every day. I mean, I feel like you've got lots to say about that.
Well, so through the years, depending on my time and what I'm really trying to manifest, I put this up on my dresser. So every morning I'm waking up and I'm going into meditation and I'm looking at the clock to see what time it is. So I don't set an alarm clock. Usually I'm waking up right at sunrise. Anyway, so I play games. I'm a 6-year-old inside, right? So I'm like, I'm going to guess what time it is. And I like try to get, and I'm usually within a minute or two of my time guess. It's pretty fun. And it affirms to my soul that I'm in alignment. And then I'll look at my dream board. So it's the vision that I see every morning before I start anything else. So even if it's subliminal and I'm not actually focusing on it, my subconscious sees it and it's in my awareness all the time. Then I'll do my meditation, I'll do some stretching movements, and then I start my day. Now, that works for me. There have been times when I have taken that and taken it to work because it's been more work oriented and I'm doing projects and I'm manifesting different projects, and I will use that dream board in that one image and I'll expand on an image and I'll focus on that for the month. So you can use this as an action board too. So I said, one year I wanted to do, I can't remember if I wanted to expand and I wanted to hire employees for doing certain projects. And I used the image and started creating a task list from it. So each morning I would look at that board and go, okay, where am I at on my task list? Because I put a timeline on it. And if I put a timeline for June, and it's May, I need to get after it, right? There are other times when I've made the dream board and I don't really think I even looked at it, but then I've gone back a year or two later and go, oh my God, all that stuff has come true. So it's not meant to necessarily, not everything on your dream board may happen that year, but even by you putting it out there, it's putting the wheel in motion in the right direction. And you might look back and go, oh, this is manifested. So I've evolved into a much more feminine way of doing the vision boards. When I first started doing them, I was much more goal oriented and masculine in its presentation. And there was lots of lists and things. So you just have to find what works best for you. And don't be afraid to like, okay, I'm going to try it this way. And then, okay, that doesn't feel quite right. Start over and try a different way.
I have a
Thank you.
question. How long do you take to build your dream board?
Yeah, so I usually put a time limit of 45 minutes to an hour. And
Oh.
it does depend on, Lucinda, if you're going to be searching the internet for visions or images, if you decide you want to draw it out, but you can take hours to do it, 4 or 5 hours if you want. It also depends on the size, because so I've done like a little bit bigger than this size of a dream board, just a little picture. And we were envisioning our future selves, like just our physical bodies or our emotional, mental bodies. And so we would create a small vision and like, okay, who am I? And this is my very first one. And I was up at a church in Reading and I was probably 34. I'm 52 now. So we're looking at 20 years ago. And there's 35 of us at this long table and there's all these crafts and magazines all around. I mean, it's an art project. And I'm doing this ladies retreat and we go to sit down and I've got my art stuff and I've got this little blank piece of paper. So they guide us through just kind of similar to what I've guided you through just now. And I looked at this piece of paper and the whole time I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. I don't understand. And I'm cutting these pieces. And what are we doing here? It's a waste of time. And I think they set a 45-minute limit. And the ladies were chit-chatting and doing stuff too. And I'm getting in the zone. And about 40 minutes into it, and I'd cut out several pictures and started writing things down. And this image came through, and it was of me, like in this, and I could see my auras, and I could see the light, and I could see all these beautiful pink colors. And I put this on my dream board, like in the right spot. And I was like, and I can't explain it to you ladies, but it was like this of like, that's it. That's me. I've captured me on a piece of paper. I can't, no, oh my God, it's so I started crying, like physical tears running down my cheeks. And I was like, this, and here I was being this negative Nilly going, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And then there I was. And I was just that came with me for years. I had that vision of me and my future self and what I actually looked like and that cellular energetic level. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do these every year because it was just so meaningful.
Mhm.
And that was 45 minutes with lots of distractions and me even in my head still going, this is dumb.
Mhm.
So do it, even if you think it's dumb, it can have a really profound effect on you.
I think the piece that you said too, to make it really specific, is something that I needed to hear, because I feel like lately what I've been trying to manifest, I see it manifesting for others, and I'm super happy, but I was like, wow, okay, well, so I feel like I just need to be more specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tanya, it's a really valuable tool to do the meditations prior to drop into what you really are imagining as your perfect, or what it is that you're desiring.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take it one step further, Tanya, for you, especially if you've meditated or you're used to doing this type of work, is to then drop into the feeling as if you already have it, as if
Okay.
you're already there living it, and get into what would it feel to embody already being that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Step one, getting very clear on what it is that you want. Step two, get yourself there
Okay.
and create from that space.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Rochelle, I have made a list, but I feel like I'm gonna, and it's pretty detailed. I don't know if I can find pictures that represents my list.
Yes. See the ego getting in our way? You see how we want to block ourselves? So Canva, do you have Canva?
No, I've never heard of Canva.
Okay. Do you have the internet?
I have Pinterest.
Yeah. Okay. Go to Pinterest, type in words that would represent that potential image and see what comes up.
Okay.
See what comes up.
Yeah, I'm on Pinterest a lot, and I see a lot of things I like on Pinterest.
Great. So even Lucinda, what you can do, I'm not on Pinterest a lot, but if I can remember, you can create folders in Pinterest or favorites. Can you do
Favorites,
favorites?
yeah, and you can
Favorite.
say,
Okay, so you can create a folder, and these doesn't mean you have to use them, but you can add a dream board folder. Start searching your images, and don't get attached to that you're finding the image that goes on the dream board. Find images that inspire you. Add them
Okay.
to add them until you get, okay, I'm pictured out. I think I've got it somewhere in there.
Okay,
So
because
then you
a
can
lot-
print them out, several of them. Cut them
and-
out.
okay, and that's the part I don't know. If I'm on Pinterest and I've saved them, I don't know how to print them out.
I don't either. Does anybody else know Pinterest very well?
No, unless you do like a print screen, you know, and then just do a collage by copying the image on a Word document and then print it out that way. Or take a screenshot with your phone somehow and then put it together. Because I've had dream boards, people talk about saving it as a screensaver on their computer, as their Facebook, you know, image, or on their cell phone, oops, as a background, right? Which I haven't done, but I'm sure you can.
Some you can save as a picture sometimes.
What's that, Melissa?
Sometimes you can save the Pinterest picture as a picture on your phone. Sometimes some do and some don't.
Yeah. I use an app called Snippet,
Oh yeah, snippets are good. Yeah.
which is an app you can download, and then you hit a couple of buttons on your computer and you can cut any image from your computer to a clip and then print it.
Okay,
So,
give me ideas.
yeah, clip it. You might be able to just right click on your mouse on the image and print it too,
Mhm.
Or save as, yeah.
or save as, and then save it to another folder on your desktop and then print it from there. Canva's another app you can use, Google Images. So you could just go to Google, like you would go to your drive, like a Google Drive, and then they have Google Images. And it's just a bunch of pictures. You could type in and search images. You can do it that way too.
There's also lots of videos on YouTube to show you how to do different things with like with Canva and Pinterest and like and just about anything you can imagine. It's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward. That's how I've teach myself a lot of these things.
Yes. YouTube's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
You can find just about everything on there. All right. Oh gosh, I'm so excited for each of you to be able to go and manifest your dreams and use this tool to help tap into your creative, tap into your feminine side, tap into that so that you can have the absolute life that you want and desire and deserve. And if there's any help that I can give you along the lines, you can reach out to me at Internal Wisdom, where we practice clearing your temple, your vessel, your body of toxins or interferences with emotions and or physical ailments, so that you can have a more clear connection to your higher source and power and who you really are. So I really appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you
I-
very much.
One more
Yes,
question,
thank you for your time.
Rochelle.
Yes.
When I came on, sorry, I was late, having a hard time getting onto Zoom, but you were talking about breathing and I didn't quite understand what you were talking about, the breathing.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and if anybody needs to go, you can drop off, and Lucinda, we'll chat a little bit more about that. And anybody wants to stay, I can review the report.
Okay, thank
I
you.
know you're recording it. Are you going to send us a recording of it at all, or?
Absolutely, I can send you the.
Yeah,
Mhm.
excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll send you the
Great, yeah.
recording. I'll send you the Dream Day,
That would be great.
Mhm. That
Yeah.
would be really great.
and
Yeah,
I'll send you the wheel. The wheel sometimes.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you,
so much.
Rochelle.
You're
This is really
welcome.
amazing. Yeah,
Lots
thank
Have a
of
you.
great
love.
weekend.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Happy New Year.